Good morning or good afternoon, whatever the case may be, in whatever time zone you are in. My name is Vince Garcia, and I am the marketing manager with Alula in Houston, Texas, and I would like to welcome everyone to today's presentation. Alula presents LTE Deep Dive, Decrypting the Standards. First, let me go over today's agenda with you. I will first introduce you to our presenter, who will then cover everything about Alula. Then we will get into our LTE Deep Dive, and then we will start taking your questions. First, let me introduce you to today's presenter. His name is Dave Main. Dave has been a leader in the wireless device networking market for over 2 decades, helping to develop new business and product opportunities for companies like Digi International, GE Security Interlogics, Gibson, and Itron. Dave has held leadership positions in engineering management, product management, business development, and as well as the general manager of the Interactive Services Division of GE Security. Dave's leadership helped GE Security launch 3 interactive service offerings to the market through partnerships with Alarm.com, iControl, and the establishment of a home elder care platform called Home Assurance. Now get this final point. There are over 100 million network-connected wireless devices now deployed and in operation at the organizations where Dave has built his career. That is amazing. Dave, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Vince. Happy to be here.
All right. Dave, can you get us started by talking to our listeners about Alula?
Yeah, I would love to. So, Vince, Alula is an organization really focused on bringing the professional security dealers and our partners a new world of connected home and connected device solutions. We focus on a broad range of technologies, and we really try to embrace this growing evolution, I'll say, of the connected premise. There's a broad range of new technologies, new devices, new communication paths, and our focus is to really go tackle all these different technologies, package them up, and bring them to our customers, the professional security dealers, in a way that creates an innovative and rapidly evolving service platform that they can bring to their customers. And so Alula is all about the connected premise, all about connected devices, and all about wireless technologies that deliver innovative new automation and security solutions for the professional dealer.
Okay, great, wonderful overview. Dave, now can you talk to us a little bit more about Alula, the company?
Yeah, and Alula, it's a new company, but it's built from a heritage of people coming out of the security industry. We have over 120 employees with offices in Houston and up in the Minneapolis area, Hudson, Wisconsin, which is right near Minneapolis. And we've had a decade of building security hardware and solutions with really a strong focus on engineering innovation. The leadership has been built from people who have owned security dealerships themselves, who have owned central stations, or like myself, have come out of various industry providers, whether it's Interlogics or Honeywell or others. And so we bring a broad range of industry experience, but we also have a focus on listening to our partners and listening to the dealers and looking at ways new technology can be brought into the professional security channel. And that's what Alula is all about. And we'll get into how do we have this history, and I haven't heard of Alula. Where does it come from? And I think in the next couple of slides we'll break that mystery down.
Yep. In fact, our next slide, let's talk about the history of innovation and growth from the companies that became Alula.
All right, yes. So there's a lot of information on this slide, but what you'll see over on the left, 2 things. Alula is made from 2 companies, IP Datatel, headquartered down in the Houston area, and Resolution, which is up in the Minneapolis area. Both organizations, very complementary with one another, focused on bringing innovative IP technologies, IP-based technologies, whether it's over broadband IP or cellular IP, to deliver services to the professional security dealer. IP Datatel's focus was really around communicators. We'll be talking about these throughout the presentation here. Broadband, Wi-Fi, and cellular connectivity to a very robust and scalable interactive services platform that allows dealers to get alarm signals and interactive control and automation to their customers. Resolution really focused on wireless technologies with a heritage going all the way back to ITI and Interlogix and understanding how to make sensor technologies compatible with virtually any system in the market. Translator technologies allowing dealers to take over sensors and put a new security system in to bring services without having to replace all of the equipment, all the way through to the Connect Plus offering, which you see pictured on the lower part of the screen towards the right, that is focused on delivering interactive controls in a UL-compliant wireless system unlike any in the market. These two companies merged in late 2017 and emerged as Alula in 2018. So, new name, new company, new brand, but a long history of innovation and trusted products and services delivered to the professional security channel.
Fantastic. Terrific review of the history and innovation there. Dave, on this next slide, let's talk about something that we always talk about, future-proof dual-path communications. Why is this so important?
Yeah, Vince, so many security dealers are installing systems and it's relying on a single pipe out of the home, whether that is historically a phone line, which are increasingly going away, to maybe a Wi-Fi connection, which is connected up to the customer's home, and that Wi-Fi connection might change, all the way through to just being locked into a cellular-only connection. We focus on dual path. We'll have an Ethernet port and a cellular connection on our products. We'll have an ability to add Wi-Fi as well. So we really focus on dual path communications. As cellular, many people in the on this webinar probably faced the 2G shutdown. As that occurred, they had to get out and replace all of their cellular communicators before the cellular providers shut down that network. In our case, we actually have backup communications. If the cellular goes away, it'll go over Ethernet. So dual path is critical. We're dealing with security and life safety services, and we're dealing with systems that really become part of our partners' customers' lives, and we need to make sure that those are always on and reliable and have very rapid response both for life safety signaling as well as for interactive services, and that's why we rely on dual path communications.
Absolutely, very important. Great. Dave, on this next slide, let's talk about what some folks call the alphabet soup of cellular technologies.
Yes, so communication technologies are an ever-evolving thing, and a lot of this is driven by the smartphones that you probably have in your hand and might even be looking at right now. I hope not. I hope you're watching the webinar, but people have increasing demands on the use of smart devices and network devices, and this forces continual enhancements in communication technology. So, CDMA is a form of code division multiple access technologies that's used by companies like Verizon and Sprint. And this is it's a communication technology. It exists in the market today. People are installing it, but it has some limitations on bandwidth, just as GSM, which is the global system for mobile communications used by T-Mobile and AT&T. They're different network technologies, and if you have a GSM card, it can't ride on a CDMA network and vice versa, but both are very viable technologies, but still have limitations on bandwidth. LTE is the long-term evolution network, and it is a 4G wireless broadband technology developed to achieve high-speed data. So as network technologies emerge, it's largely built around increasing the amount of data that network can carry, increasing response time, and allowing the cellular network to deliver a greater amount of entertainment and internet content to mobile and wireless devices. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that in the security world, in the interactive security world, we focus on very small amounts of data, and so we want to be on the latest technology, and we have the LTE products, but we only use a very small piece of data on these networks. And so we're always staying current with the network, but we stay very data efficient, and this allows us to bring to deliver services over different categories of LTE. And on the next slide, we're going to get into categories of communications, which break this down even a little bit further.
Okay, Dave, you mentioned that. Let's get into the next slide, LTE applications by category. Dave.
Well, if anybody on the call ever has to dig into details of cellular communications, you're going to find, okay, LTE, well, there's Cat 1 and Cat M1 and Cat NB1. What do all these things mean? And fundamentally what it is different grades of communication that allow for narrower band communication. So as I mentioned, in the cellular world, we use a very small amount of data. We want to be on that LTE 4G network, but we're going to continue to evolve to what might be called Cat M1 technology. It's a lower power device, it's a lower cost device, but it only has little bits of data. The phone needs to have a lot of data coming to it. Our devices need a smaller amount. So categories tend to just be applications that require less data, can exist on the network without having to have a high bandwidth pipe outside of the property. So again, the focus is on a combination of latest network and then bandwidth optimization, and that's what drives all of these different categories to be available in the marketplace.
Okay, hopefully that explains it for the audience out there. Next, Dave, let's get into LTE bands and channels. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, so as you get into cellular technology, there's a continual expansion for frequencies and bandwidths that these carriers can use, and they break it into different dedicated channels. And what you'll see over on the right-hand side with Verizon, the network we're on, they operate at frequencies of 1.9 gigahertz, 1.7, and all the way down to 700. And all that really means is these are bandwidths that the carriers have acquired. They've purchased or been made available by, in the United States, it's the FCC. These are bands that they can operate at, and all of the radio technologies that we build are going to operate at these various bands and then within a specific channel in the band. And this helps avoid, it helps again to lay out the different categories that we described in the previous slide. It allows the systems to operate at optimal bandwidth and performance, and it allows technologies to be globally available on networks. So if you bring your phone overseas, these radios are going to be able to operate at any of these frequencies. And frequencies that the FCC allocates might be different than those in Europe, and so the radios that we build have to be capable of going across all of these different frequencies.
Okay, there you go. Thanks for explaining that. Next slide, I love this slide. Let's talk about why antennas matter.
Well, antennas are your path in and out of the device. And so the important thing with the antenna is it's to receive data from the network, and it's to send data to the network. The better your antenna, the better your performance is going to be. When you're on your phone, the antenna is built right into that small little device. As you get into a remote area of the cell network or you're deep inside a building, you're going to have a hard time getting more than one bar to show up on your phone. We can't have that in a security world. We're going to be buried inside a building. We need to make sure we have very good antennas, which is why you see these dual antenna devices that are on our communicators and inside the Connect Plus platform. And we focus on picking antennas that are going to have optimal performance. One thing you'll note in the LTE world, the LTE devices require two antennas. The older CDMA and other cellular devices you might be familiar with only had a single antenna. Dual antenna, again, optimizes performance required for LTE devices, and we focus on optimal gain and both internal and external antenna options on our Connect Plus platform.
Right, and then you see here in our slide, we've got the dual antenna BAT LTE as well as the internal image of the Connect Plus. So fantastic. All right, mentioning that, let's talk about the Connect Plus and how LTE relates to that. Dave?
Yeah, so on the previous slide, you saw a picture, as you mentioned, Vince, of the Connect Plus platform that had the internal antennas. Here you see it pictured on the right-hand side with the cover on. The Connect Plus is a UL-compliant security system that leverages LTE technology. It has a built-in Ethernet port and can plug into a router for its first path of communications, and then inside, underneath that cover, it has an LTE module with 2 antennas for optimal performance, providing a secondary path of communications. The Connect Plus is really built to optimize and address hurdles that security dealers face every day. It's a modern design. It looks like an IoT hub, but it's truly a UL security platform. It has full battery backup, providing security and life safety services. And then it has option cards, as you saw with the LTE card, to add in automation, Wi-Fi, or other communication technologies to further extend the service offering of this platform. Everything is built around encrypted Connect Plus sensors, and we have encryption through all paths of communication between all the cards and all the way out to the interactive service platform. So a very flexible, robust, new and innovative way to deliver security and automation services to your customers, leveraging LTE technology.
All right, the Connect Plus. Dave, on this next slide, let's talk about the BAT LTE.
Well, the BAT LTE, this is another LTE device, and this happens to be one for if you're a dealer who's already installing a panel, whether it's from Honeywell or NX or whatever system you might be using. The BAT LTE provides dual path communications for those systems to provide alarm reporting and interactive services. Very simple installation, connected via Ethernet and pre-activated on the cellular LTE network. That's an important point. At the factory, we activate and test every one of our LTE devices. All you have to do is create an account for your customer, and the service is up and running. We have these dual high-gain antennas. We talked about it on a previous slide. We mentioned it had 3 dBi gain on those antennas. That basically increases your cellular range, both on the transmit and receive side, by about 50%. And we have universal panel compatibility. We connect up to the keypad bus, or we have what's called tip and ring connectivity, and any panel that supports contact ID can do alarm signaling through our device. So it is a system that is very flexible on the installation, easy to install, and does not limit the dealer's ability to do remote programming, whether that's through a remote keypad emulation or using the downloader to make changes to the panel. Again, focused on keeping the install costs low and preventing truck rolls. That's what Alula does day in and day out, is try to develop technologies that allow dealers to keep their accounts online and do so without having to roll a truck, which we know is costly and takes away from bringing new business into the dealer. All of these can be providing interactive service on apps available, the Alula app available in the Apple Store or on Google Play.
Okay, fantastic. Dave, let's get into this next slide. I know that you wanted to talk about compatibility.
Yeah, I mentioned compatibility on the previous slide, but I wanted to highlight this chart's available on the website, and it shows all of the different panels and systems that we are compatible with and that we test with on our BAT LTE platform. Again, we have both panel bus and tip and ring connectivity to maximize compatibility and flexibility. We support the downloaders to minimize truck rolls, and we have a very responsive system. If you're going to add in security and interactive controls, you want to make sure that when that button's pressed, it happens instantly. And we design our systems to have very quick and fast response, again, with dual path communications. So make sure to visit our website, download this compatibility chart. I'll almost guarantee you, anybody on this call, if you're not installing our Connect Plus system, you're going to be installing one of the systems on the left-hand side, and we're going to have an answer that's going to help you grow your business.
Terrific. All right, Dave, on this next slide, let's talk about alarm signaling, notifications, and controls. Let's dig a little bit deeper on this one.
Yeah, we've talked about the importance of responsiveness of the system, and we have direct alarm communications. It's dual path IP and cellular, and it is a high quality, highly reliable, interactive and alarm signaling platform compatible with interfaces to virtually any of the central stations across North America. The signals are sent directly over IP connectivity to the central stations for instant response on those. And we have an always-on connection, so even the interactive controls happen without any delays. We supervise our network connectivity as well, and we'll provide notifications, push notifications, email, and other text notifications if there's any break in communications. And that occurs both to the professional security dealer as well as to your customers. And the app can be branded on behalf of the dealer quite easily, and then providing a broad range of smart device control as you get into our Connect Plus platform to bring enhanced services beyond just alarm signaling to your customers.
Great. So important to always stay informed on that. All right. Folks, to learn more, it's very easy. Just visit us at alula.net, alula.net, alula.net. There you will find product information. We have product sheets for everything. We have catalogs, technical documents including manuals, quick start guides, as well as guides for our dealer portal. Also, we have links to our YouTube channel, Alula LLC. If you would like to, you can reach out to our sales department. It's very easy to get a hold of them via email, sales@alula.net. That's sales@alula.net. Also, you can reach us via our toll-free phone lines, 888-88-ALULA. That's 888-88-ALULA, 888-88-ALULA. Get in touch with us. Dave, I am looking down the board, and we do have some questions coming in. What do you say we tackle those right now?
Let's do it, Vince.
Okay, first up on our board, Randy in Florida has a question. Randy asks, how long does it take for the Connect Plus to switch over from LTE to wireless? Is this an instant thing?
Oh, great question. So we talk about dual path connectivity. The Connect Plus is built with an Ethernet port on it. You can add in the LTE Cellular card. It will always aim to use the lowest cost path of communications. And so if Ethernet's available, that's the path it's going to use. If that connection goes away, it will automatically switch over to LTE. That generally takes about 15 seconds. There's a lot of internal activities going on that switchover process. However, if there's an alarm event or alarm signal happening, it's going to try and push that out immediately. If it can't, it's going to immediately go to the alternate channel. That delay is, if it happens to lose a network connection, it will start to do some internal switching, switch over to the LTE, and then interactive services will pick up from that point forward. So about 15 seconds for interactive services. If there's an active alarm, that happens much faster.
Okay, Randy in Florida, hope that helps you out. Next up, we have Stacy in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Stacy asks, Dave, you mentioned the fact that antennas matter. Within your description, you mentioned your ultra-wideband antenna receives a 3 dBi gain. Can you discuss?
Yeah, so dBi is a measurement. It's a decibels measurement, which really focuses on 2 sides of RF. It's how loud you can talk and how well you can listen. And the antennas happen to provide gain in both sides of that equation. And as I think I mentioned in one of the slides, basically that measurement gives you about a 50% increase in performance over an antenna that has no gain. So We really focus on you have to pay more to get a high gain antenna, but we believe that it's well worth it when you're dealing with life safety devices to ensure you have optimal performance. And so we focus on about a 50% gain through that antenna.
Okay, great answers. Stacy, hope that helps you out. Next up, we have Barry from Indiana. His question, Dave, you showed all of the bands and channels from all the different carriers. Which one is better? Dave.
Well, they're all just a little bit different. I'll say if you think of frequencies, it's different. It's like voice tones. There's high pitch and low pitch, high frequencies and low frequencies. Lower frequencies tend to penetrate walls better. So if you're in the interior of a building and you have something operating at a lower frequency, it's going to tend to penetrate into that building more. And you can think of it like a subwoofer, something with high bass. You can feel that vibration. So lower frequencies tend to penetrate more. Higher frequencies can't penetrate as well, but they bring, again, some qualities in terms of data. I'll just say the ability to carry data. So there's some benefits to both sides of it, but generally lower frequencies will penetrate walls better than higher frequencies.
Okay, Barry, hope that helps you out. Looks like we have one more coming in. Steve in Southern California. Steve says, how important is it for me to get my business switched over to LTE at this point? When is the next so-called sunset? Dave, what do you say?
No, that's a common question in this industry in particular, just coming off the 2G sunset. And as we know, cellular carriers are always going to advance their networks. I know, the 3G technology and the CDMA products, they're going to be active and supported on the network at least through the early 2020s. So we have no concern on that front. LTE is the next generation, and we're always staying on the latest generation technology. That's why we have LTE in both our Connect Plus and in our BAT LTE offerings. There's no foreseeable sunset, and there's continued investment in new categories of communications around both, high data devices like phones as well as low data IoT devices being built around the LTE 4G technology. So things will continue to evolve, but we're just seeing the sun rise on this technology, and believe it will be around for many years. And again, we focus on dual path communications to ensure that these products, Ethernet hasn't changed in decades, and we don't envision that's going to go away. So we always have two paths of communication to all of our devices.
Okay. Steve in Southern Cal, hope that helps you out. Dave, looks like that wraps it up with the questions. I'd like to give everybody some contact information again. If you'd like to learn more, be sure to visit alula.net. That's alula.net, ALULA.net. Also, reach out to our sales department via email at sales@alula.net. That's sales@alula.net. Also via our toll-free phone line, 888-88-ALULA. That's 888-88-ALULA. Dave, would you like to close out by saying anything about LTE technologies, Alula, the Connect Plus? What do you have for us?
Well, I'd just like to close by saying, all the technologies, the LTE, the Connect Plus, everything you're seeing in the Alula family is built off of conversations that come from people like yourselves, our partners, our dealers. And so as you have ideas, if you have feedback on any of our products, or if you see something or have a specific business challenge, make sure to reach out at the numbers and the emails that Vince just laid out for you, because that helps us build out our roadmap. We're excited about the LTE solutions. We're very excited about the Connect Plus platform. We think these are going to help you grow your business, and we will continue to add to these offerings based on your feedback. So keep that communication line open, please.
Great message. Again, sales@alula.net via email, via our toll-free phone lines, 888-88-ALULA. I'd like to thank everybody out there in our listening audience for participating today. Dave, I'd also like to thank you for your time. Thank you very much. We'll talk to everybody next time. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Vince.